You know what it is. I'm Parlay Hunter.
I'm like with the green man, road life, man, road travel life. That's what we living right now.
Hey, this is a Bro Media production. This is Bro Bets brought to you by Bro Media. This is not a gambling podcast, but we do talk about what we do with our own money, and you know what it is. Okay, so it's a new week of football, Dre. It was a very entertaining week of football. We saw high flying action, lots of points being scored. That's going to take us to our first subject that we're going to talk about today. We're going to be talking about Sean Payton and the Dolphins. But real quick, just to give us a little rundown. We're going to talk about Zach Wilson. We're going to talk about Mac Jones. We're going to talk about the Texans and the Jags and how good the Texans are. Brandon Staley, Justin Fields, and then we'll do our usual rapid-fire picks. And before we start talking about Sean Payton, Dre, you want to just give us your initial feeling after watching football this weekend?
Man, it's just, we're still early in the year. Teams are still building their identity, but I will say this. I think this year is going to be very interesting. Uh, for one matter is that there's going to be more teams that are offensively explosive, just like the Dolphins have showed. Then we're going to have a lot of good defensive teams like we have in previous years. I just think the 49ers are dominating right now. Eagles had a great win last night versus the Bucks. I mean, although it's pretty close to the main first three quarters, but I think those teams are the kind of solidified teams that they have great defenses. Now we've seen what the Cowboys did. We'll get to that. Losing Trayvon Diggs is big for them. I think that that's going to take a hit for them. He creates turnovers, he creates points on that defensive side. So what the Dolphins did in showing that this is going to be what the NFL is going towards, more points to win. It looks like a college game out there, 70-20. I'm looking at the stats right now. Tua threw for 309 and 4 touchdowns. Had two running backs with over 2 touchdowns, Raheem Mostert and Devin H.A. Devin H.A. 203 yards rushing. Tyreek Hill is silent, 9 receptions, 157 in a tough. And then guess what? Jalen Waddle didn't even play. So, I mean, it's exciting. The Vikings game is back and forth, a lot of points. So it's just a lot of teams are building their identity through offense. I like the Packers that came back. Shout out, we're in Green Bay right now. Jordan Love, I continue to see him grow and command that team. I thought people, shitted on him before the season, trying to be the predecessor to Aaron Rodgers, but he's doing a phenomenal job. And so I think teams are building around offense. Lions look good. Everybody, it's offense. It's an offensive league right now. This is after week 3 now. Don't hear me out. We might switch my thoughts around come week 8, week 9, week 10. But right now, NFL is built on offense, man.
Yeah, and that I'll take us to our first subject. We're going to talk about Miami and Denver a little bit more in depth right now. It was funny because after watching that Miami Dolphins game, I actually texted my friend who's a Dolphins fan, and I just said it looks like how we played Madden growing up when we were playing Madden, and you score 70 points. It's like the same way that Mike McDaniels is doing it with the Miami Dolphins offense. Granted, he does have probably the fastest offense on paper, but they made that happen. They made the moves to make that happen. And I mean, they are using that speed better. They're utilizing it better than I think any coach could. I'm seeing something very special with Mike McDaniels. And I do think it will last because, like you said, it is the direction that the NFL is going. And he is, I think, ahead of the game with that. And he's going to, I think, be here for a long time. I would be ecstatically excited if I was a Dolphins fan. I think that's more things to come, better things to come for them for the next decades to come. So moving on over to Denver, Sean Payton talking a lot of smack about Nathaniel Hackett at the beginning of the year. Now something has happened where he just got, like you like to say, shellacked. He just got shellacked.
Very much so.
Mike
Very
McDaniels just shellacked him. Pause.
Very much so.
You know what I'm saying?
We got the pause count going on.
Okay, so let's talk. So I just want to get your initial thoughts on that because my initial thoughts are since week 1, Denver, Russell Wilson, everybody is not on the same page with the play calling. I'm seeing a lot of confusion. And Russell, I see a lot of confusion. Not necessarily like, oh, Russell has lost a step in his athleticism. I still think he looks athletic, but there is a miscommunication playbook, maybe. I don't know. It just seems like it seems like he doesn't even know the plays or something like that, or he's not getting them out fast enough. That's what I think, is that there's just not enough communication and awareness, and they're not there yet. And it's week 4 of the NFL, so it's a little late. It's late. It's very late.
Yeah. I mean, this is very surprising. Denver historically has been one of a better team in the NFL, one of those historic that's gonna play tough, that's gonna be in the mix of things. And for them to look this disappointingly deflating right now early on in the year, it's terrible. I mean, they're not getting the offensive going like they should be. Russ still threw for 306, but hey, you lost by 50 points and it was 70-20. It's great. It's crazy to say you lost by 50 in the NFL in itself. But the running game's not going great. I mean, they're running back by committee. Portland Sutton had 8 for 91 in a tub. Jerry Jeudy 5 for 81. Marvin Mims 3 for 73. And I mean, you're gonna make plays right now. Dolphins defense is missing Jalen Ramsey. I want to go back to a quick thought about the Dolphins though. And my main thing is this, and I'll continue to say it, and I'm not being Ryan Clark and I'm not being the bear bad news, but they gotta keep Tua healthy. Because my thing is this offense runs around him as the commander. I can't see them doing this with any other quarterback. I forgot who they got at their backup. Then they get Tyler Heineke or not
No,
Heineke.
Mike.
Mike White from the Jets. Yeah. Mike White's a great backup quarterback, great number 2, but I still don't see him being that successful in this offense to do the things that Tua can do. Tua has a unique tool set, being a left-hand quarterback, very accurate, very precise. You could see that Miami this offseason, chemistry, OTAs, you could see it right now. In week 3, they put up 70 points. They know each other well. So my thing is, you got to keep him healthy. And if they keep him healthy, Dolphins, to me, I won't say the Super Bowl, but they're in the AFC Championship for sure.
Cool.
But the Broncos, man, they might as well wipe the season away. Sean Payton got to pause. He needs to eat his words, what he said about Nathaniel Hackett, and he needs to be a man about, this team. This team is just not there yet. Like you said, they're very young, and I think this is time for them to reevaluate that contract with Russ, reconstruct it so they can go get some free agents this offseason and maybe give him one more year and let him go after that. So, I mean, I don't know. I just don't think that this is a good situation for either him or this organization, and something's going to happen soon. I know.
Okay, so great stuff. Staying in the AFC, let's talk about Zach Wilson and the troubles that are going on in New York right now with the Jets. Aaron Rodgers went down obviously week 1, and they have not gotten it together. And Zach Wilson, I think that what we're seeing a lot of the professionals say is that Zach Wilson gives them the best chance to win. And I don't know if that's true. I think that Zach Wilson, the way that his play style, I don't see it. I don't actually see it adapting to the NFL at all at this point in time. And I think he has to change his play style, and that might take a few years. And as being a backup, Joe Namath said this today on the radio, that he should go and be a backup for someone like Patrick Mahomes and just learn behind them like he would have been doing for Aaron Rodgers this year. And yeah, I agree with that statement. I don't think Zach Wilson is going to help the Jets win many games, if any, this season. So what do you think about that?
I'll say this. This is what I'll say to that. We've seen a huge pause. We've seen a great amount of Zach Wilson now. He's got a full resume. He's got his first year. He had a mix of last year before they benched him, and now he's taking over this team now. So I agree with Namath. I agree with Stephen A. I agree with Shannon. I agree with everybody. Everybody. The New York Post, everybody. I agree with everybody. We've seen enough. But what my thing is it's not about the X's and O's and can this guy command this team. This is coaching. This goes down to Robert Saleh. You said that. I think Robert Saleh is a great defense coordinator. I don't know if he's a great head coach. But my thing is this. This is the NFL, bro. I watch the game as a fan. I watch the game as a scout. I watch the game as a front office guy. I watch the game as a player. All of these. And my thing is this. It's the confidence. And do you really want to win now? The Jets were deflated when Aaron Rodgers got hurt. So they really don't care from an organization standpoint and a coaching staff to win. They don't. If they would go get another quarterback to help right now. You've seen enough of Zach Wilson. You can't tell me there's nothing you can't do. You can trade for Tyler Heineke. You can go work Carson Wentz out, bring him in or work out whoever. They're not going to bring in Colin Kaepernick. They can go do whatever. I even heard talks about trading for Kirk Cousins. I don't know where that came from, but I'm just saying they could, if they wanted to shift gears in this whole thing right now, they could to at least be a playoff team. Because this is the thing, we were saying all this. I ain't gonna cut you off. We were saying that the Jets were one player away. They were a quarterback away from going to the Super Bowl, not playoffs. So if that's correct, then how come we can't even get to the playoffs without Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think that I don't, it's just I don't really believe in Salah either. But I like Coach Robert Salah. I don't really believe that he is he hasn't shown me. I don't believe in him yet. And there's only, 5 coaches, 6. It's a very small list of coaches that I believe in, where I actually think that, hey, if this coach, even they play above their they use, they can take a roster that's on paper worse than a lot of other rosters and still beat good teams. And I haven't seen that with Robert Saleh yet. And I think it's looking real bad for the Jets.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
To stay on this conversation, I'm just looking at stats from the game yesterday. What's going on with the running game? You bring in Dalvin Cook, you have a healthy Brees Hall. Both of them have 18 yards.
Yeah.
On 20 carries. Both together had 20 carries, 20 carries, 36 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Now we need to talk about the offensive line. We were so, and I fell for it too. The hype train of the Jets being something, bro. And it's not that I bash the Jets. I actually think that they have great players, great talent. It's just the consistency of greatness in the organization. It doesn't start never from the team. It starts from the starts from the top down. It does. It starts from who's running the organization as ownership, coaches, and then the players play. So we're gonna just continue to make Zach Wilson the fucking victim here. Let's not do that anymore. Let's not make him the suspect. Let's not make him just to be the end all be all. The running game's not getting going. The defense is playing okay. I mean, they're playing the Patriots. That's a lethargic offense they went against. So what are we talking about? We got to be able to create in other ways. Let's not say this. The 2001 Baltimore Ravens won with an elite, great, all-time great defense and had Trent Dilfer at quarterback. No offense to Trent Dilfer. Shout out to Trent Dilfer. Now the UAB head coach down there, Alabama Birmingham, doing a good job. But my thing is this: what are we saying if it's about a quarterback when the Ravens won the Super Bowl with a no-name quarterback that probably threw under 2,000 yards on the year? So Zach Wilson, yes. Is he playing bad? Yes. And let's try to get another quarterback in. Let's get the fucking running game going, and let's put some points up, and let's get Johnny some ice cream. Let's get Johnny some ice cream.
Yeah. No, seriously. I completely agree. Staying in that game, Mac Jones, there's a viral video going on the internet of him punching Sauce Gardner in the dick while he's getting up. And people are calling Mac Jones a dirty player. This isn't the first time that this has happened. And he seems to be like a repeat offender.
Is he dirty or is he zesty? Which one is he?
Yeah, well, there's also the last year he tripped someone. He got knocked down and he lifted up his leg. And maybe he was actually trying to kick him in the nuts. Like,
he sounds a little zesty.
He could have been, you know what I mean? But it's still dirty. I mean, in the game and whatnot, to do all that. Should we, what do you think of Mac Jones, let's talk about because he's the quarterback of the Patriots. And, as a teammate, you want somebody that you like personally, right? Or does it not really matter? You don't have to like someone personally.
I don't really make nothing of it, honestly. I don't think it's a major big deal. I mean, if it happens again, he's gonna be like, what's the boy from Duke? My boy from Duke that does it in the NBA, Garrett. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about. I'll go with it. I gotta look it up now. But I don't make nothing of it.
Nothing of it. So you just think that it's okay for him to get away with stuff like that?
No, I'm not saying it's okay for him to get away with stuff like that.
But there are dirty players in the game. And we see cheap
Grayson
shots.
Allen. Like Grayson Allen. I don't think
I'm seeing a pattern. Seeing a pattern. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a lot like this wall.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, but players play dirty and whatnot in the NFL. Mac Jones as a leader, do you see him being the leader of the Patriots of that offense, of the locker room? Do you see him sticking around for a long time as a leader? Because Tom Brady was a leader, as a quarterback. I mean, I think that's a quality in a quarterback that you want to see. Do you think he has leader qualities aside
I
from
think
playing dirty?
you said Mac Jones.
Yeah.
I think he's been okay. I think he's definitely been hand fed by Bill Belichick. I mean, they've given him not much to. I mean, he's got some weapons, but I'm saying like they're not asking him to go throw 300 yards a game, 3 touchdowns. I mean, the Patriots know who they are. They're going to stay in the means of that. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to try to run the ball successfully. Now, the Patriots are a great organization. They always have been, even with Tom Brady, without Tom Brady. They're going to come prepared to play. I know that. So every week it's going to be a tough game that you're going to play against the Patriots. And the thing about it is, yeah, if he can excel in making those explosive plays, 20-yard plus plays, a couple of those a game, get the offense going, open up the offense, I think he can be something. But I think he's poor man, a poor man Kirk Cousins, really, honestly. But Kirk's way better than him. I wouldn't even say Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins has developed from a game manager to an actual like Kirk's gonna get you 300 yards and 3 touchdowns a game. You can almost guarantee that. He's been playing good the last 2 seasons. Been playing great with Justin Jefferson and this new offense with Kevin O'Connell. So I mean, I don't know the ceiling for Mac Jones, but I can imagine that if he doesn't, stay successful as the quarterback at the Patriots, he'll end up being a backup quarterback somewhere. I don't see it being much other than that. He's not even like Baker. Baker has a little, Baker has a little factor to him that #1 overall pick, but Baker has flashes, more flashes. Mac Jones has. Let's count how many 300-yard games he's had, maybe on one hand. So that's why I say he's not
good
there
point.
yet.
Yeah. Okay, staying in the AFC, the Jags lost to the Texans. And this is kind of interesting because at the beginning of the year, the Jags, I mean, they were looking like a really good team that could make a deep playoff run. The Texans, it was just kind of assumed that the Texans were going to lose a lot of games and just develop their new quarterback, CJ Stroud, and their young receiver corps. But what I'm seeing right now is that the Texans, I mean, CJ Stroud looks like a future stud. Tank Dell, our guy from the podcast, shout out to Tank Dell. He showed us some love early on in the season, and right now he's just balling out of control. He had
he's number 2 on the waiver wires in fantasy leagues. By the way, him and Devin Achane, the running back from Miami. Tank Dell was 5 for 145 in the tub, 68-yard bomb from CJ for a touchdown.
That's in our league where you actually beat me.
It's getting real in it.
Yeah,
I did.
You beat me.
I almost shellacked you.
Whoa, pause that. Like that's a super pause. Okay, yeah.
No, I mean that wasn't really because shellac is not the definition. That's a warrior.
I mean, we need to pause. I need to pause the podcast completely. Okay. No.
Here we go. But anyways, I'm just saying it was getting very ugly for you, and then Joe Mixon kind of saved you. So
no, I got like you said, I got shellacked. And pause. But yeah, it was a bad beatdown. But back to the Jags and the Texans. Yeah, I'm just seeing a lot of good things from the Texans and DeMeco Ryans and Will Anderson and the defense. Will Anderson, I think, is 3rd on the sack list this year or something like that. So I think that's just looks really, really good for the Texans. I haven't lost hope in the Jags. I think the Jags are going to get it together before the end of the year. Maybe it starts this week. I just think that the Jags have had a rough start. The Bengals had a rough start last year. You see it in the NFL. Some teams have a rough start. Some teams have a rougher start than the others. and but you still kind of see where they're going to get it together. I think that the Jags, I think Trevor Lawrence is a fantastic pocket passer. I don't even really think you got to use the option that much. You got ETN out there. He can catch the ball and he can run it. I mean, you really don't have to run that many option plays. I don't think you got to make it that confusing with that offense. They got a deep wide receiver core, and the defense is deep as well. So I don't really understand why the Jags are bad. Doug Peterson, one of my favorite coaches in the league, and he won a Super Bowl. I just think it's kind of right. I just think it's, to me, what it looks like is early season type of, struggles, mismanagement, whatever you want to call it. I do right now believe that the Jags are going to get it together by the end of the year. That is something that I'm going to, actually, like, I'm going to say that, and I'm going to stand on that for this podcast. We'll see. We'll check back in a few episodes in a few weeks from now if this actually does happen. But I do believe the Jags will get it together and they will make the playoffs before the end of the year ends. What do you think?
I think so. I think, like you said, they're trying to find their way. Houston caught them off guard this week. I think the one thing I'm not gonna say, I don't want to rain on the parade for Houston, but you know who they play this week? They're honoring T.J. Watt, not T.J. Watt. They're honoring J.J. Watt, and little brother T.J. is coming into town to play Houston. I think that's not going to be good for C.J. Stroud. I think he hasn't seen, and it's not just because it's my team. I think he hasn't gone against a DN yet, like T.J. Watt early in his career. So that's going to be a tough matchup for them. So it'd be interesting to see what Tank Dell and them going through. But back to Jacksonville, they need to find their way. As I'm looking at the targets here, Calvin really had 7. Evan Ingram had 8. Christian Kirk had 6. And Calvin really only had 3 catches off those 7 targets. Christian Kirk had 4 off those 6 targets. So it's like, I don't know. I didn't see the game to see how the flow of the game was going, but I don't know. I think the thing that the Jags got to do, and Doug Peterson needs to do more, is start faster in the passing game with Trevor Lawrence. Get him going early. That makes the game a little bit more. It's a little bit backwards, unorthodox, because their run game is going to be there. They got a good running back in Travis Etienne. He can always break one for 70, 60, whatever. But I think with Trevor Lawrence, as I'm watching him develop into a star at quarterback, he doesn't get going until like the third quarter. You remember the playoff game they came back and won. They struggled for 3 quarters, came back and beat the Chargers, and we'll get to Brandon Staley next. But it's just like this. You got to get Trevor Lawrence going for him to be able to be successful. That's the thing for me. I think the first game they won this year, Calvin really had a touchdown within the first 2 drives, I believe. So it's like, where's that offensive flow in the beginning of these games that they're winning and losing? Like, get it going. And so I think D'Amico Ryans does a great job with C.J. Stroud with that. I mean, he utilizes. He knows where his strengths are. Even though they had Damian Pierce, who was a decent running back last year. And, I mean, their running game got to get going too. But I know that shit all goes the worst for Houston. D'Amico Ryans is going to rely on C.J. Stroud to get them out of games, and that's what Doug Peterson needs to do with Trevor Lawrence. But the way you do that is starting fast. You go get a quarterback to go 12 for 12. You throw, quick hits, slant route, some quick outs, depending on where you are on the field. You do this to get your quarterback's confidence going, to open up the run game, to open up the play action, to open up the down the throw threats. So.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's talk about Brandon Staley. You brought him up for a second. The Chargers just played the Vikings. It was
they got by, man. They I heard somebody said if they would have lost and he went for it on that 4th down, he would have got fired yesterday.
Yeah, I believe that, and I think he should get fired. I don't like stuff like that. I don't really, the play call that they ran was a run up the middle. That wasn't working all day. Keenan Allen was going crazy. He could have just
historical day,
Keenan Allen. It was, the play call didn't make sense to me. And I do think that the Vikings are a bad team this year. And it looks like, they're not, I just don't think that they're going to win the NFC North with how good the Lions look. And actually the Packers look okay, but I just think that the Lions are going to win that division. I don't see the Vikings getting a wild card. I think that the Vikings look very, they don't look good to me. They look pretty weak, on like all areas of the field except for the wide receiver corps with Jefferson and Addison and Cousins. And it doesn't make me feel good saying that. I don't, I don't relish in dogging the Vikings. I want the Vikings to be good, but they look very bad to me. And I don't, when you got a guy like Justin Jefferson, now you got people, and you didn't get him a new contract at the beginning of the year. Now you got people really, the media talking about him getting traded, and that's the last thing you want to do is trade your superstar, a game changer like Justin Jefferson. You need to keep Justin Jefferson, build around Justin Jefferson. That's the guy. That's a you got a once in a lifetime opportunity when you once in a generational talent with Jefferson. I believe he is maybe the best player in the NFL except for Patrick Mahomes, or it's 1A, 1B. You can switch them back and forth. So you got to build on that. And I do believe Brandon Staley should get fired. He should have not taken a shot like that. He does it all the time. And I do think for him, it's a personal thing. I think it's him saying, you guys really aren't going to, like, I'm this good. I'm this badass. Y'all are going to keep me. So that's how I feel about it. I don't like it. And I think it jeopardizes a lot of jobs and players and coaches.
Let's start on the Viking side. I'm looking at stats right now. Justin Jefferson is projected to have 2,500 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns on the year. He's right now got 27 receptions, 458 yards, bro. That's crazy. It's absurd. Anyways, the Vikings are bad this year. I think they'll get it going. They're gonna win. They have a great offense to win games. Defensively, they have to find some players on the DB side of things. They really need to do it, or teams are going to put up 400 yards passing in 40 points every game. So I don't know. They'll have to find their way, but I think they'll get it going. Their division is shaky right now. I think it's the Packers and the Lions year, but we'll see. The Vikings, I don't know. But to the Chargers, like I said, Keenan Allen historical day, 18 receptions. That's a franchise record. 215 yards. That's a single season record for him. That's crazy. Mike Williams did go down. Mike is has been injury prone in recent history. I pray that he has successful surgery, torn ACL. So now it's time for Quentin Johnson, first round pick, to step up a little bit, man. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think Brandon Staley's playing with fire right now. I think, I think he's safe for the season. But I think if they don't go to the playoffs and they don't win a playoff game, he's going for sure. I mean, unless they really go the rest of the year and they go on a run here and they maybe lose 6 or 7, he might leave. But right now, Justin Herbert's keeping them safe. Justin Herbert, my quarterback fantasy, 40 for 47. That's a very efficient day for 405 and 3 touchdowns, no interception, 1 sack. I mean, I was waiting for him to have one of these games early in the season, but hey, he had it at the right time. So I think these two teams, great offenses. Defenses are very subpar. I don't see the future for neither of these two teams going anywhere in the playoffs. They just don't have the defense to do it. And so a lot of injuries on both sides, but Chargers, they get a lot of injuries every year, and that's their downfall, man. So we'll see how this team even looks come week 15, 16.
Speaking of the future, our last subject before rapid fire picks, Justin Fields, another bad day, for them. They got beat down by the Chiefs. I mean, obviously that was kind of expected that they would lose the game, but they lost by a ton of points. We saw a couple huge blowouts. There was Denver, the Bills blew out Washington, and then the Chiefs also blew out Chicago. What do I personally think with Justin Fields? If I was the owner of the Bears franchise, I would fire the coaching staff. I would continue to rock with Justin Fields. You already gave up the early pick that you were going to get this year. You already are betting on Justin Fields, all in on Justin Fields. You play with you get new coaches. You continue to rock with Justin Fields. You get another offensive weapon early in the draft next year, maybe Marvin Harrison. I don't know, but you go about it that way. And yes, I know it would be bad for the media if you got rid of the coaches after Justin Fields said what he said, but he said what he said for a reason. And I do think, hey man, like you got to do something.
I just think I have nothing really to say about the Bears. The only exciting thing for me from that game is I got to see Taylor Swift in the press box with Travis Kelce's mom. So that's all I got to say about that Chiefs Bears game.
Were you looking at Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce's mom?
I don't know. only my eyes know. But I don't got nothing to say about the Bears. Bears are the Bears. Chiefs are looking like the Chiefs, looking pretty good. I mean, I seen Mahomes had a slight ankle ankle sprain, but I think he'll be fine. Yeah, man. There's nothing. Like I said, nothing to say.
Yeah. And shout out to Mrs. Kelsey. No disrespect. I just think that she'd be
No,
looking,
no.
she just be looking kind of good. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
All
have
right,
you
so
looking at Miss Chelsea?
hey man, like that's for my eyes to know. All right. So let's move on to hey, that's what hey man, I like that. I like that. So let's go on to rapid fire picks. We were talking about Lions and the Packers. The division is up for grabs between those two teams, we believe, right now at this moment in time. That's who's playing each other Thursday. It's the Lions versus the Packers. The line is even, just completely even.
Over under at 46 right now. I'm not. This is a tough one.
Real quick,
I'm gonna roll.
Hold on. Let me just say I'm gonna go with the Lions. It's even. So I personally think it's gonna be the Lions by 3.5. So I'll take the Lions minus 3.5. If the line moves up throughout the week, that's just me personally. But I would take them now while it's even, and that's where I'm at.
This is a great game. I'll say this. Who did the Lions? Did they beat?
Yeah,
the
they just beat
Lions?
the Falcons.
Who did they played the Bears too? Because they have a division win.
They beat the Falcons and they beat the Seahawks and they beat the Chiefs.
Okay. This is what I say. I'm in Packer country, man. I can't get, I'm right here right now. I can't go against the Pack. And morally, I do. I'm rooting for the Pack because I am a Jordan Love fan, bro. I want him to be successful. I think dude is one of the next great quarterbacks. I always want to see the Black brothers do good and be successful at quarterback. My heart is saying the Packers. My mind is saying the Lions. But I think the Pack win at home. This will be a tight one, but I'll take the Pack, but I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the over 46 in that one. That's the best bet out of that game. Out of that game, that's the best bet.
Cool. And Aaron Jones might be back, so I like that bet because when Aaron Jones comes back, I think the Packers' offense is rolling. But I do like the Lions still.
And shout out to Romeo Doubs, another receiver on the rise for sure.
Yeah. They got some my guy Luke Musgrave. I think he looks good. He's a good tight end. Okay, going on to the Falcons and the Jags. The Jags are favored by 3. The Jags are at home. It's the Falcons and the Jags.
They're not at home. They're in Wembley Stadium in London. This game is an early game on Sunday in London.
Yes, okay, you were right. Thank you. They are in London. I still like the Jags minus 3. I will take that all day. What's up with you?
I like the Jags minus 3. I think Calvin Ridley, this is a payback game. He's going against his old team. I think he definitely goes over 100 yards. It's up. I think the Jags want to knock off that game from last week. And then I just think that, like we said, Desmond Ridder is he's all right right now. We don't know what we're seeing with the Falcons, and DJ Robinson kind of slowed down since week 1. So I just like the Jags minus 3.
What was that last part?
I just like the Jags minus 3.
Okay. All right. So the next game, we got the Rams and the Colts. Minus it's at Indiana. It's at Indianapolis, and the Colts are favored minus 1.5. I like the Rams. I'm going to stay on the Rams. I think the Rams win this game, but I will say the Colts defense. The defense is there's not really a big difference on defense. I actually think the Colts defense is a little better. And Gardner Minshew's playing well for the Colts, but I think that Matt Stafford is playing really, really well. And they have a young receivers. Puka looks really good. Kyron looks good, but they're just so young. But Matt Stafford, to me, I think he looks like MVP Matt Stafford. I think he looks really good. I wish he had Cooper Kupp because I think they'd be so much better. But against the Colts, if Anthony Richardson might play, he might be out. But either way, I still will take the Rams after losing to the Bengals. I think that's going to give them a lot of.
This is called a rapid fire thing. Rams plus the money. Give me Rams plus the money.
Gotcha. Okay. So next up, we got Washington at Philadelphia division game. This is going to be a good one. Okay, so it's Philadelphia minus 8. That's a lot of points. Eric B, Sam Howell turned the ball over a lot. Sam Howell's going to have to not turn the ball over. If he doesn't turn the ball over, if you don't think Sam Howell's going to turn the ball over, I would take the 8. But they just got beat down by the Bills. Philadelphia looks like they're getting it back together. 8 is so many points. The over-under is 44.5. I will take over 44.5. That's where I'm going to go because I think whether Washington wins or loses, I think they'll probably lose. I think it's going to be desperation time to score some points for Washington in a division game. And I think Philadelphia can do it all day with them, keep and still win. But I'll take the over.
Rapid fire, my man. This game is too spread as far as the points too much. So this is a sandwich trap game. Tease this game down, Philly to -3. And if you want to even better bet, AJ Brown anytime touchdown hasn't scored yet on the year.
Okay, so let's go on to Denver at Chicago.
Yeah. All right, so we stopped on the.
You know what it is. Sorry about that. Little delay there. Okay, so we're back. We're talking about Chicago and we're talking about Denver. Chicago +3, over under is 46. So I'm gonna have to just say, ooh, this is tough. Both these teams suck, and I'm just gonna go with the under 46. I'm not actually I would be nowhere near this game, but that's the only way I could go.
I think Sean Payton wins here. I'll take them to take the team to win. I think the Broncos win here. I would take that with a money line. I would not take 3.5, and I say under. But that's better. The better bet is here is under 46. That might be the best bet of the week, but I'm not going to quote that yet. But under 46.
Okay, so going on next, we got Tampa. We got the Saints. It's Tampa at New Orleans. Saints are favored -3. Derek Carr had a shoulder injury. Bucks just had a bad loss to Philly at home. If Derek Carr is out, Jameis Winston's playing. Ooh, that's a tough one. I think that the Bucks got it together though, because that losing to Philadelphia is expected to be in the Super Bowl. Tampa could still be a pretty decent middle of the tier squad here. So I'll take the +3. They might lose by two points, but I would take the +3 with Tampa.
+3 for the Bucks. No Derek Carr. It's ironic. Isn't this thing seeming crazy that NFL seeming more scripted by the day? Derek Carr gets hurt. Alvin Kamara's first game back. So give me the Bucks +3. But this game also will go over 45 points.
And Jameis will be the quarterback for the Saints. He used to be the quarterback.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of points here.
Okay. So next we got Baltimore at Cleveland. Cleveland is favored -2.5. Cleveland's defense is playing very well. The offense looked better last week. I think that Baltimore is a very good team as well. This is going to be a really good game in your division of the Steelers. Over-under is 41. I would take the over 41. I just think that even though I think both these offenses are very good still, I think that Lamar is playing like he's playing above the actual like ability of the team. So I would take the over 41. I think that looks good for me.
I mean, this one's hard for me to take. It depends on what Ravens team you're gonna get. So for me, it's like my bad. I have some technical difficulties here. Ravens. It depends on what team you're gonna get. But I think the Ravens need one. They're due for a tough win. I think the Ravens. I'll pick the Ravens +3 here, and then I would say under 41. This is a low scoring game. Ravens get back to offensive running game, and then Lamar goes over whatever his rushing yards are in this game for sure.
Okay, next we got Minnesota at Carolina. Minnesota is favored by 3.5. 76% of the money is on Minnesota, which is hey, there's this noise of like a shh. Is there something?
Yeah, I'm in a coffee shop, but
okay, there's they're
making some coffee.
Oh, okay. It sounds like it's right next to the phone. It sounds like somebody's like wiping down. All right. Anyway, Minnesota, 76% of the money's on Minnesota. It's -3.5 against the spread. Carolina looks better with Andy Dalton. If Andy Dalton's playing, I would take the 3.5 with Carolina. If Bryce Young is playing, I would take the 3.5 with Minnesota. So that's where I'm at.
Vikings are due for a win. They know if they lose this game, it's a wrap on any playoff conversations. I think they get the W here. I would not take the -3.5 though. I would tease this down to a money line. I do like the over, however, 45.5.
Okay. Next, we got your Pittsburgh Steelers at Houston. Houston, they're given so it's -3 for Pittsburgh against the spread, +3 for Houston. Over under is 42. Hey, I think that this game. No, I would have to take -3 with Pittsburgh, but Houston looks good.
I'll say this: J.J. Watt is being honored. Little bro will come and show out for his honor
They're being
ceremony
honored
in his
at
old stadium.
Houston. He's being honored at
Yeah,
Houston. Oh,
J.J.
J.J.
Watt.
Watt. Gotcha, J.J.
J.J. Watt will be honored into the Ring of Hall of Fame for the Houston Texans. Little brother T.J. is going to show you why he will surpass the greatness of J.J. Watt in this game. I think this is a long day for C.J. Stroud. We do get a defensive touchdown here, so remember that. That's a key thing for a bet. C.J. Stroud will throw an interception in this game, and as well, we will take the -3 on us. And I think we might even. I'm not gonna do anything with over under, but we will win -3. So.
Got you. Next, we got a big division game. Miami at Buffalo. Buffalo is favored by 3.
Game of the week right here.
Yeah, probably because they're at Buffalo. The over-under is 53.5. I don't even care. I would have to take the over 53.5, even though it's pretty high. Miami just put up 70. Buffalo just put up like 50. They just put up like 50 on the Raiders, and they put 50 on the Commanders. I would have to take the over there. That's the only way I can look at it, and it should be a good game. And it's on Sunday, so usually I only steer away from the over-unders if it's a Thursday game, but it's on Sunday, so they got the whole week to game plan.
Give me the points. I don't understand how we're not putting the points on Miami after this, but I'll take Miami +3.
Cool. Yeah, I feel you. All right. So next we got Cincinnati at Tennessee. Cincinnati is favored by 2.5. Tennessee just got blown out by the Browns this week, so they're giving them 2.5. Cincinnati -2.5. I still don't think Cincinnati's a very good team, though. Over under is 41.5. The way I would look at it is over 41.5, because I think that Tennessee, they can, when they have when Derrick Henry is playing well, D-Hop is looking really good still. You know what I mean? Like, he can catch, he can have 10 catches, you know what I mean, still. So I still think that Tennessee, even though they put up 3 points last week, that's not really, that's not really how, usually they're a lot better than that, even offensively. So that's the way I would look at it, is over 41.5.
I think great commentary right there into the rapid fires. I just think that if Derrick Henry gets the game going, I think this is one that Tennessee needs to win. I don't know if they do, but I will take Tennessee +3.
Got you. Next, we got Las Vegas at LA. The Chargers are favored by 6. Garoppolo did have some type of injury. I think it was a concussion. They're at LA. It's 6 whole points. The Raiders don't look good. The over-under is 48. I would have to look at this game. You know what, man? I just could. There's no way I'm going anywhere near this game. But the only way I could look at it is, you know what, bro? I would have to say money line, tease it with a parlay, Chargers. That's the only way I can look at it.
Exact same.
Okay.
But I will say Justin Herbert over 2.5 throwing touchdowns.
Cool. All right.
This is a game. Oh, well, if he's hurt, Austin Eckler's hurt. If he's playing, this is a game for Austin Eckler. But Justin Herbert goes over 2.5 touchdowns this game.
Okay. Next game. This is interesting. Arizona at San Francisco.
Oh, you're going to, okay.
San Francisco's favored by 2 whole touchdowns, 14 points. Over under is 43.5. Cardinals just beat Dallas. I'm feeling a little disrespected right now. I'm going to take Arizona with the points. Let's go.
I'll say this. San Francisco is due for an L. I don't know if they get this, if they take an L here. What I do know, I know the defensive coordinator for the Cardinals. Know him well. He is family to me. I know one thing. They're going to keep this game a game. They did it for all 3 of the games they played thus far. They're going to keep this game a game. And this is the thing. I think this is the perfect storm. He's going against the mastermind of Kyle Shanahan. It's going to be Nick Rallis versus Kyle Shanahan.
Nick
And it
Rallis.
really is like,
Nick Rallis is the defensive coordinator for the Cardinals.
yes.
Yeah.
And I think this is what he wants. He wants a matchup where San Francisco is going to rely on the run. They're going to take the opportunities they can in the pass game when they can. Nick knows that he's a mastermind. He's been studying film. Probably right after they won, he probably went home and studied film. I know him. I know what he's thinking right now. So I'm rolling as well with the Cardinals plus 14, but give me 14 and a half, and as well give me the under 44.
Got you. Next, we got New England at Dallas.
I jumped the gun earlier in that. Zeke returning back to the Cowboys.
Yes, that's right. So New England is at Dallas. Dallas just coming off a tough loss to Arizona. 43.5 is the over-under. Man, I would have to take.
This is a big line for Dallas. I'm not gonna lie.
It is. That's why I would have to take New England plus 7. You don't. I just Belichick, everything. I mean, that's the only way I look at it.
Yeah, I'm taking New England plus 7.5. I just got to get that half point, bro. You know how that game can get tricky. We're not trying to push on our bets. We're trying to actually win. So.
Got you. So next we got Kansas City at the New York Jets, and the Jets they're giving the Jets 9.5. 74% of the money is on Kansas City. The over/under is 42.5. Yeah, the only way I look at it is Kansas City. That's the only way I could see it.
In the week of the game, you always know I gotta find my game of the week that I say this pause before I say it so nobody misconstrued. I'll find the definition for the word next week for you guys, but this is the select game of the week.
Oh, we know the definition of the word. we know what we know.
No, we don't know what that is.
Oh, we know.
We'll look it up.
We know what you mean by that. All right, we definitely know what you mean. Ain't no need to look it up. We know what you mean when you say shellacked. I mean, just by the way y'all, yeah. Even though by the way she says it, I mean, you could tell what that word means.
Defeat or beat. That's what shellac means.
Yeah, I'll say so.
The definition they gave, it says they were shellacked in the 1982 election.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Oh yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is the shellac game of the week right here. No chance for the Jets. Zach Wilson starting again. I think that big game for Kansas City defense, but hopefully Patrick Mahomes' ankle injury isn't too serious. I think this is a game that he can get more in rhythm with the young guys at receiver. Kadarius Toney can redeem himself. Sky Moore, Rashad Rice, get those guys involved because this is a game that they can, get their game plan going because the Jets are nobody without Aaron Rodgers. I'm sorry to say that, but sorry, Johnny, no ice cream this week.
Mm-hmm. Last game, Monday night, Seattle at New York, the Giants game. This game is interesting. The over/under is 47. It's New York is favored by 1.5. The Giants are. What I really kind of see about both of these teams, they're actually kind of similar, but I do feel a little bit like Seattle, not necessarily for this game, but every year Seattle gets a little bit disrespected. Seattle, to me, looks really good. They always got 3 tight ends who can catch the ball. The Kenneth Walker looks great. Geno Smith plays well. Defense is a little shaky. And I think the way I would look at this game, though, I think that the Giants, oh, man, this is tough. I will be nowhere near this game. Absolutely nowhere near this game. But I would have to say
Not that tough for me.
Are you ready? Are you okay? Why don't you go?
Seahawks plus the points.
That's it for you?
Easy, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. No Saquon. No Saquon. No Saquon. Daniel Jones. Say, okay, Saquon plays, then yeah, give me the Giants a money line, but no Saquon, give me the Seahawks plus the points.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple, bro. This one don't even have to think into it that hard, bro.
I guess I will follow you with that
I
one.
mean, you
So
live in New York. You live in
yeah.
New York, so
No.
you're
That's the way
seeing it from a different angle.
No, I see it that way. They're at home, you know what I mean? But it doesn't really matter. I guess I think that yeah, that's the way I'd look at it too. So that's our episode. It was a that was
Dark cloud in New York right now. Really
yeah,
like Gotham City between the two
literally.
football teams, man.
It's been raining for like 7 days straight.
See,
Yeah, all right. So that's our episode. We're excited for week 4 coming up. That was a good week 3. And yeah, I'm Parlay Hunter.
Life of the Green Man. Always tune in, subscribe, like, comment on our YouTube channel, Bro Media. As well, Bro Media is one account now on Instagram. We have some other content coming soon, guys. Please follow, subscribe, like, watch our reels on TikTok as well. We do a great job of trying to update this stuff, man. We're getting better, me and Parlay. We're getting better. Remember, always get responsibility. And if you have to drink that early in the day, have your coffee, then have your beer. Don't have your beer, then your coffee.
Yeah, we are not a gambling show. We don't talk about what you should do with your money. We talk about what we do with our money. This is not financial advice. And we just like to talk and have a podcast and, just try to talk about football. So that's all it is. This is a Bro Media production. Peace out. Good luck, everybody.
Get out of here, man.